even if this doesn't work out, this is a story that not many people get to tell.
Welcome to a special edition of the Dare to Be Different podcast. On this episode, Ed talks to Joe about a huge announcement that everyone at FlexScreen have been dying to share with all of you. Enjoy.
Well, hey, what's up, and welcome to the Dare to Be Different podcast. I am your guest host for today, officially. My name is Ed Newell. I'm here with Joe Altieri, the founder of FlexScreen, Reflex Brands, and the original host of the Dare to Be Different podcast. What's up, Joe?
Not much, but I like how you put the original host of
original.
Like this is it. Like,
I'm about to take over.
Yeah, now that you've had one day, it's thanks for having me on your podcast, Ed.
Exactly. You've had your time to shine. It's mine now.
That's it.
But we are switching things up a little bit today. If you've listened before to the Dare to Be Different podcast, listen, we have 5 values that we really love to target every single one of our episodes about. It's adventurous, honest, passionate, healthy, and grateful. And so every one of our topics we believe are going to point back to one of those 5 values. But today we're doing something a little bit different, where it's a little bit on the adventurous side.
A little bit on the adventurous side. As someone who lived through what we're going to talk about, it was big on the adventurous side.
And to be honest, I feel like this is leading into what you want your entire 2020 to be about, which is the idea that you want to live life more vulnerable.
More vulnerable, yes.
Right? And so I kind of want to dig into you about arguably the biggest thing happening in your life right now.
Yes. I mean, there are amazing things happening in my life. I have grandchildren, more grandchildren coming, all of those things. But this is
that's good. We're not talking about that.
Yeah, but as far as like once in a lifetime thing that doesn't happen to a lot of people, this has just been such a privilege that I've been able to go through.
Yeah.
And we haven't even said what it is yet.
No. So why don't you tell everyone what happened?
Well, I very, very soon January 5th at 9:00, I'm still like leading up to it, creating the tension.
Yes.
I will be on Shark Tank.
Shark Tank.
Yes.
The ABC hit show Shark Tank. Man, if you're not familiar with the show.
Wait a second. If you're not familiar with the
come
show,
on.
like what are you doing listening to this podcast?
What is your life?
Really?
Entrepreneurs,
Yep.
businesses, typically maybe on a smaller business side or people that are just kind of starting out. They're looking for investors to come in and buy into what they're doing. And so they go and pitch their idea on Shark Tank, in the tank, as they would say, to a group of investors.
Yes.
And you hope that these investors are going to buy into your product, and you come in with a proposal hoping that they're going to potentially agree to what you say, but they could give you a counter pitch. They could say, we're not interested. And then it goes from there. You hope to get a pitch and get some sort of agreement, and that these sharks, these really high-end entrepreneurs, will come in, invest in your business. And yeah, man, really cool things could happen from there.
Yeah. So first of all, one of our staff members called it the Super Bowl of small business, and it's actually pretty accurate,
right?
And so there was a lot of prep leading up to it, to get on the show, and a lot of things that you have to go through to because there's, they get thousands and thousands and thousands of people that want to be on the show, because there's the Shark Tank effect that really changes your business almost overnight. So whether you get a deal or you don't get a deal, your business is not the same afterwards.
Yeah.
So everybody, again, if you have a new product or a small business or a great idea, you want to be on the show.
Yeah.
So
how long have you known, or how long have you been in this Shark Tank process? When did you first find out Again, there's certain things we can't talk about, certain things you can't talk about due to confidentiality, whatever. But how long have you kind of been known that you were going to be on Shark Tank?
So we started the process springtime of this past year. So springtime of 2019. And, it's been a couple months since we shot. And then to finally getting the word that, hey, here we are, we're actually going to do it. So there's been this crazy amount of anticipation, excitement, a little bit of anxiety, about whether or not, are we actually going to make it on to the show? What does all of this mean for us? That kind of thing.
So even though you went, you don't actually know. I mean, we just announced you are going to air, but
we are going.
You
to air,
didn't
yes.
know even if you were going to air.
No,
Yeah,
we
really
didn't. And so look, the fact of the matter is, Shark Tank's a TV show, and it's a brilliant TV show.
Yeah.
So if something weird happened, I had a big booger sticking out of my nose or something like that. Of course, they're probably not going to put it on the air,
Right.
Or maybe they would.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe
Right.
that would make great TV.
Right.
But could you see Mr. Wonderful come up and dab a little booger out of the way or something?
Yeah.
But
so what was your reaction to finding out that you were, even in consideration to go and do a pitch or be in this whole world of Shark Tank? What was your reaction to finding out that?
So is this back in the spring? Or
Yeah,
is this...
back in the spring. Whenever you found out you possibly could go and be part of this whole process, what was your reaction?
We thought it was fake. To be honest with you,
Someone was pulling a prank on you.
We were like, good job, guys, you got me. So
it was me. I made sharktank@gmail.com. I want you to be on this show.
Yeah, so it took us a little while to get to the point where we're like, wow, this is real. We could really go out and film an episode of Shark Tank.
Send me $50,000.
Yeah, that's exactly we have the secret.
Am I being scammed right now?
If you give us your bank account, we'll get you on Shark Tank and put $30 million into your account at the same time. But so yeah, we thought it was fake, but as we were going through the process, again, kind of going back to the adventurous thing.
Yeah.
So through the whole thing, my wife, who was really the person who was with me, a couple members of my staff, because they had to help through this process. But my wife, Alicia, who was with me, we just kind of kept saying, even if this doesn't work out, this is a story that not many people get to tell.
Right.
And so, we looked at it like that for the entire time. And that was a great way to ground me, because again, there's a tremendous amount of stress. I mean, this is I don't want to say it was a difficult process, because the show is fantastic. They're amazing people, and the process was great, but there's just still it's stressful.
Yeah.
Leading up to it. You have to be very, very well prepared.
Yeah.
To go in there and go in front of those people who have made Mark Cuban has more money than God.
Yeah.
I mean, to stand in front of him, you have to know your stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, you can find this information if you just Google Shark Tank. This is on abc.com, but I don't even know how to say her last name. Barbara Corcoran.
Yep.
Mark Cuban, Lori Grenier. I don't know how to say Robert's last name. Robert Herjavec. I don't know.
I'm not sure how to say it
someone
either.
Correct me on that. Damon John, Kevin O'Leary, and then some other one. There's a bunch of other guest hosts that have been on recently, but those are kind of the main sharks. I mean, these are big people, big entrepreneurs,
yes,
who have done all really phenomenal things. Some in retail, some in the sports industry. There's all these different areas that they've made lots and lots of money on. So what did it feel like knowing that you were going to go stand in this group of people, in front of this group of people?
Well, going back to the Super Bowl analogy, right? And if you're listening, I'm Pittsburgh born and raised, so we're Steelers fans here, and but it would be a lot like playing football in high school and then having to go try out in front of Franco Harris and
right.
You know what I mean,
Yeah.
some of the greats of the greats of the game.
Yeah.
And then them saying, hey, here's your shot for the big leagues, that kind of thing. So
wow.
Yeah, it really feels that way. I mean, it's these people get to know you in the time that you're there, through your presentation and stuff like that. So, trying to get your personality across to them, because you hope to partner with these people. You know what I mean? This isn't just, hey, we'll give you some money. This is a partnership with one of these people that have made great businesses. So, it was exciting. The anticipation, when they open the doors and people walk down the halls, that's exactly what happens. You're standing there, they're on the other side of these doors, and you're standing there oh my goodness, I can't believe this is going to happen. So I cannot believe I'm standing here.
How fast was your heart racing at that moment?
It got to be a little surreal, through the whole process. So, what happened, standing in front of the doors, because you're busy up to that point. Like they're putting mics on you, they're touching up your makeup, they're giving you like last minute instructions and all that stuff. And I hope I'm allowed to talk about all this, but we'll find out. But when the doors open, you kind of, for me anyway, I kind of got onto autopilot. You know what I mean? But then in the middle of the pitch, it hit me what was going on. And you do public speaking, right? And I don't know if this has ever happened to you before. But I had this sensation that my mouth was saying one thing and my brain was thinking ahead, right?
Yep.
So I was out of the moment.
Yeah.
Right? And then you have the sharks who are, they're doing their thing. What you see on the show is what happens. They're firing questions at you and stuff like that. And so I had this moment where my brain was literally talking to me, and this is the craziest thing. I'm like, get back, like hook Lindsay back up, like get your mouth and your brain hooked back up, because I have no idea what I'm saying right now. Like,
you're literally speaking something, and you're talking to yourself in your mind.
It was so crazy, and I do public speaking, so I've had it happen before. But never with the
pressure.
The pressure, yes. Like in the past, if you're public speaking and you get ahead of yourself or something, you go, wait, I forgot this, and you can back up, right? Not you, like you don't have that opportunity there,
right?
So, it was that out of body experience or out of mind experience was crazy. But yes, my heart beating fast, like going in, right? Then I got really, really calm, but then it hit me in the middle like that connection needed to happen again. So I got a little bit panicked, and then but they're so again, the sharks are tough because they're great business people, right? But they're also really gracious, through this, and so it wasn't like I never had this feeling like if I messed up, if I had to backtrack or something like that. Again, not make a huge error as far as my numbers and stuff like that, but if it was like, let me back up. Let me talk about this. I don't think it would have been like
that
they would have.
Yeah,
that would have been that big of a deal. Now, I didn't feel that way at the time. There's tons of pressure at the time.
Right. So obviously, you're not allowed to say the results of going onto the show. You're going to have to tune in January 5th, ABC, 9 p.m.
9 p.m. Yes.
But talk about your process going in. Did you? I don't even know. I don't even know if you knew what sharks were going to be there. But in your mind, were you thinking that I wanted to target a particular shark, or were you kind of open to whoever?
So first of all, going in, I've watched enough of the show that I wanted to be prepared. So I have partners that are avid Shark Tank watchers. So they quizzed me for pretty much the week before, a couple hours every single day. I went with them and talked through all of our financials, all of the things the questions that they might ask, things like that. So that preparation, again, very stressful, but really, really helped out. I made a vow that I was not going to go in there and have Mr. Wonderful beat me up because I didn't know my numbers.
Right.
So that that part of the prep was really important. And anybody that goes on the show that doesn't do that, man, you're making a mistake. You should have somebody drill down your numbers and just pound them into you and practice and practice and practice and practice. But when we were talking about who would be the best partners for us, because again, you're like, you sit around and you're dreaming, right? Like, man, what is the best deal? What could possibly happen? There were pros and cons with every single one of them.
Right.
So we kind of landed on two that we were like, man, this would be great if we got one of these two. First was Mark Cuban, mainly because, again, more money than God, which would be that'd be a lot of fun. Maybe some Mavs tickets, but also he's a Pittsburgh boy. So that I just thought that connection would be fantastic. And then the other one was Lori Grenier, just because she is a retail icon, and retail and branding icon. And I knew that, from experience. I mean, come on, she made a stool that you poop with, like, famous. Like, come on, like anybody that can make Squatty Potty famous is, more than impressive in my book.
Right.
But the rest of them are fantastic too. I mean, even Mr. Wonderful, for as much as he gets picked on in the media and stuff, and he almost is like the bad guy of the show. He's tough. Man, he's still brilliant.
Yeah.
So there's just not a bad choice with any of the sharks.
Yeah, I mean, again, they've all done different things. Mr. Wonderful, I mean, he was in a lot of software type things. Again, Mark Cuban is sports, Barbara real estate, Lori is a lot of retail. Damon's
retail too.
Yeah, he's retail, mainly on the sports side. I didn't think he did some things with shoes.
Yeah, he was
like that.
FUBU or something like that, right?
Yeah, FUBU. So I guess when you're looking at all these, there's a bunch of them that I think could really help benefit FlexScreen in a lot of unique ways. Yeah. So right now you're kind of in this weird time of this whole process. You went through the whole thing. You can talk about some things. We can't talk about other things. You got the premiere date coming up. What are you feeling right now?
I thought that once I was able to announce things that the stress would go away. It has not. It just absolutely has not. So now you have so again, my word of the year for 2020 is vulnerable. We do a lot of social media stuff, for me, for my companies and things like that. And ultimately, I have last look at pretty much everything that we put out, right? I have no idea what I said during the time in the Shark Tank. Like, I have no idea. Like, I feel like so exposed because it's not like I don't get to see it before everyone else. So, So at 9:00, I will be seeing it for the first time.
Wow.
And there's no doubt in my mind I'm going to go, did I really say that? Like, I can't believe I said that. So,
because it's just such a surreal thing. I mean, you were in the zone like you were just talking about, but again, I don't know. It's almost like, and not to make light of this, but it's almost like you have PTSD or something around this situation.
And again, not to that extent, but it's just, you're having conversations, and again, think back, like pick a conversation that you had for, 3 or 4 months ago and try to remember everything that you said.
Right.
And then if somebody played it back, like, are there some things there that you'd be like, man, I wish I would not have said that.
Right.
But I feel a little bit exposed and vulnerable, and I'm sure that I'm going to be, there's going to be certain times where I'm just going to have to go like, oh my goodness, like, wow, I can't believe that. But laugh at myself. Like, I'm going to have a chance with everybody else to have some fun at my expense. And again, it's part of the adventure.
Yeah.
Right. So no matter what happens, no matter, if I got a deal, if I did not get a deal, if I made a fool of myself, if I didn't make a fool of myself, it's still something that most people in the world will never have that chance to have that experience. And I feel honored to be a part of it.
Yeah. And I love that. So regardless of the outcome, you mentioned the Shark Tank effect of just going on the show, just making the appearance and just being on TV. What has your team really been having to do in order just to prepare the idea that you're going to be on national television?
Yeah, I mean, it's everything from, our website, making sure that we can handle the traffic. I mean, it's significant amount of traffic.
If I'm watching, I might be Googling FlexScreen right in that moment.
And almost everybody does. Like, if there's a product that seems interesting to you, and we know that the world is going to love FlexScreen. There's no doubt in my mind that the world is going to love. So they're going to see it. They're going to go on our website. We have to be able to handle that traffic.
Right.
So we have that. We have. So that's like the consumer side.
When I watch the show, I will if I find something I like, I will immediately Google it to see, like, can I buy it right now?
Yep.
Like, what's the status of it? And I don't know. You never know what happens. So I want to find out in that moment the thing I'm watching. And so, so I'm going on Amazon. I'm just going on their website, whatever. Yeah.
Looking at reviews, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
So we're preparing that side. And we've been, we've been looking at that over the past couple months and have open projects, but because we just got the word, now it's like, wow, and it's 3 weeks away, so actually by the time this airs, it'll be a little bit less than 3 weeks. So we're really, really, hitting the ground running to make sure that we have everything ready there. The other side is there's a side of our business that is not retail. So the fact that, we sell to window manufacturers.
Right.
So the window manufacturers sell to window dealers who then go into the home. So up to this point, people really, if somebody was shown our product, most of the time it was the first time they saw it, right? And they're like, oh, that's neat. I'd love to have that on my window. Sure, give me 15 new windows, and they have FlexScreen on them. What will happen now, again, whether or not we got a deal, whether we didn't get a deal, whether we did good, it now FlexScreen becomes a consumer brand.
Yeah, they're going to go on your website. They're going to see that I can order my screens right on your website.
They can order the screens on the website, but then when a window dealer goes in and says, "Hey, my windows come with FlexScreen," now that changed. Oh yeah, I saw that on Shark Tank.
Yeah.
So we're trying to prepare for that side of the business too, because the demand for our product through those channels is going to spike up dramatically.
And I can't even imagine. There's no way to know if you're even doing that correctly. Like if you know if you're preparing correctly or getting ready for all the traffic that you guys could get from this airing.
As an entrepreneur, as a business owner, I just want to let everybody in on this. We guess a lot.
Yeah.
So I am doing my absolute best to guess as well as I can, so that we don't let our customers down.
Right.
So that, we're doing the right thing by our company.
Right.
So, luckily for us up to this point, I've guessed right more times than I've guessed wrong. So, not necessarily with Shark Tank, but as a company.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping, everybody here is hoping that I continue to guess right.
Yeah.
But that's really what we're doing is we are looking at data as well as we can. We're a little bit of an enigma for Shark Tank too. We're a little bit of a bigger company that is normal on there, and we also, we're also not strictly retail. Like a lot of those guys are. You buy it for $5, you sell it for $10, and as long as I have enough of them in stock, I can keep my business going.
Yeah.
Because we sell to window manufacturers who buy from us every single day, it changes the dynamic a little bit, and we don't have the same type of data that some of the other Shark Tank companies can work with. So
interesting.
It's been a like I said, the stress has not ended.
Right.
But,
yeah.
But it's all great stress.
Yeah.
Again, I would much rather have this problem than so no one feels sorry for me.
Right.
This is absolutely not. This is fantastic.
Right.
We are so beyond excited. But it doesn't mean that it's any easier.
Yeah. Okay, some leadership wisdom here. How have you been handling the stress and anxiety that have been coming with this?
Crying to my wife a lot.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I mean, I'm probably personally not handling it very well because I don't have someone to look to and say, "Hey, you've gone through this before," or something like this. I don't know of a parallel to this type of situation that I can go to someone and say, what's a good way to handle this?
Yeah.
Typically I would try to go get away somewhere. I'd go up to our cabin and try to decompress for a day or two. But even this past Sunday, which is normally my down day, because we got the announcement over the weekend, we had to prepare it for the putting it out on Monday. So we literally, my staff was in here all day on Sunday, which again is a no for us to work on Sundays. But I had to break that rule so that we're doing the right things by our company.
Right.
So, and going through, we're very rapidly approaching Christmas time. This is going to overshadow some of our Christmas stuff too. So me personally. So again, I'm doing the best that I can.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping to survive at this point.
Yeah. Is there anything else you kind of want to just share about this experience, what it has meant to you, what you're most looking forward to?
Yeah, I do want to. I want to thank everybody. I mean, that's the first thing. There's so many people that have supported me, have supported FlexScreen through the years and years, and the amount of gratitude that I have to each and every person is overwhelming.
Yeah.
That's one way that I do try to cope, is just to keep that grateful attitude and the grateful heart, which will, that's helping a lot. Even I'm a Christian guy. There's been a couple times where I'll take a step back and I'll just do like a little prayer and just say, God, thank you for this. This is fantastic. And so, having that type of mentality has been important to keep a healthy balance here. But also, I want to say that to everybody listening and everybody that might watch this someday. If I don't say thank you to you in person, please know that I do thank you.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, hey, January 5th. 9 p.m.
Yes, I can.
That's Eastern time, 9 p.m.
Eastern time. Yes, please share. Share this podcast. Let people know that you listen to this. Weird guy. I'm talking about you,
Yeah.
but that now owns the podcast. But that you've been listening to this, and that somebody that you know or that someone that you listen to is going to be on Shark Tank. We would love for this to be a huge episode for them.
Yeah.
We're like the second half of the season premiere, which is really cool. Like there's a break that happens, and then we're like jumping right back into it. So they'll be doing some spots, and we're really excited about that stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah. Well, hey, this is the Dare to be Different podcast. Again, I'm Ed. This is Joe, and we're so thankful that you leaned in to listen to what we were talking about here today. The point of this podcast is really how to live an extraordinary life.
It is.
And man, Joe, I think you're doing that, and I think you're an inspiration to everyone that comes into contact into your orbit, and everyone listening. So, thanks for giving us a little bit of insight and behind the scenes into what this process has meant to you.
Yeah, and just so that you guys know, we are going to do more of these. About Shark Tank over the next, couple weeks, while it airs, and then some that will be specific right after too.
Yeah.
So that'll be a lot of fun.
It'll be great.
Yeah.
Cool.
So thanks
All
for
right.
listening.
Thanks for listening. See ya.